right. Well, good Monday evening, South Carolina weather watchers. I'm your meteorologist, Jesse Peterson, and as you can see by the screen, the same thing that we have been talking about for honestly the past week or two at this point, this dangerous heat as peak July is already showing its final form. We're gonna get there into a moment here as we go into the long-term future. As even as we go into the short-term future, we're gonna talk about it. But for the most part, it looks like that these conditions, these temperatures that we are receiving, they're gonna get a lot. They're gonna get a lot warmer. They're gonna get a lot warmer real quick. We're gonna go on and talk about that. But before we get into that, number one, if you have not hit the like button yet or the subscribe button yet, please go on and do so. Also hit the share button, share with all the people that you know. It's free. It's free. It's free. And also, the major announcement was shared at 6 o'clock p.m. If you did not see the short, I recommend that you please go on and do. Because if you've seen the chat already, it's already there. Have you checked out my new website yet? Right now, 50% says yes, 50% says I saw the video but not yet, and 0% says that no, what website are you talking about? So hopefully that's nobody here, but my website, scweather360.com, is officially out. Again, that is scweather360.com. It is officially out, and it's working great. I'll show you how it works once we get towards the end of the forecast, but let's go and give ourselves a round of applause for that one. So, we're going to go on and talk about that in just a moment. But first, we have a forecast to talk about first. So we're going to start off by looking at what's on tap. Active conditions tonight with scattered severe storms early evening. In fact, they are still going on right now as we speak. Also, scattered afternoon showers and storms in typical summertime pattern as we go into the midweek time frame. Heat advisories likely this weekend with highs again peaking once again. And then persistent hot and humid conditions with daily scattered diurnal showers and thunderstorms as you go into early next week. So, again, a lot of things to talk about, not only with the heat, but also with the stormy activity as well. So, what's currently going on throughout the state? Well, right now, there is a bunch of severe weather going on. You see some strong storms from Newberry down through Columbia, down through St. Matthews, all throughout Orangeburg, and even over into Holly Hill, going up into Summerton, South Carolina. You see some strong storms with up to 55-mile-per-hour winds. Now, there is a flash flood warning. In fact, it's even observed right now for Harleyville, South Carolina, going into Cross, South Carolina, over into Black Creek, and then also near Nelson Hill, Moss Grove, even Moorfield being those areas inside of that flash flood warning right now. And emergency management has reported flash flooding in this area. So if you are in this area, that is, parts of northeastern Dorchester County, northern Berkeley County, northwestern Berkeley County, you are inside of that flash flood warning, and you do need to be taking obviously higher ground, especially if you are inside of a low-lying area. But what's going on throughout the entire U.S. right now? Well, it seems like that we are looking at active conditions. I mean, you see rainfall all the way from Kentucky to Tennessee to Arkansas. You're seeing storms in Louisiana. You're seeing rainfall in Florida. You're seeing rainfall from North Carolina all the way up into the Northeast. And then we even have some severe weather ongoing up here inside of Minnesota, where there is a PDS tornado warning right now, a particularly dangerous situation going on over there near not really, kind of near like Detroit Lakes, Minnesota, moving into like the Evergreen area, Osage area in Minnesota. If you guys know where that area is, or if you know anybody in those areas, let them know. There's a dangerous tornado on the way towards them right now, and it looks like that it could potentially be bad for a good amount of people. So we do have that ongoing right now. Obviously, we do have some more rainfall activities over here in the west with some more storm activity as well. So we're active. We're active in a lot of areas right now. So what's going on in terms of our cloud cover? Well, it seems like right now that if you're inside the low country, if you're inside mainly the Tri-County area, going over into the Grand Strand areas, even inside the PD areas, the Midlands, looks like that you are covered. Looks like that you're covered with cloud cover right now. But there are a couple of us, like up there in the upstate, inside of the foothills area, that's kind of inside of this nice, clear condition area right now. In fact, you can see Greenville, you can see Anderson, you can see Rock Hill doing pretty well. There is a little storm near Gaffney that wasn't really mentioned, but it should be over in about 8 minutes or so. It was with 50-mile-per-hour winds with it, moving towards Gaffney. But again, like I said, it has 8 minutes until it expires. We'll see if that even, like continues on up into North Carolina. But for right now, looks like that is kind of fading away here. Cloud cover for the future. It does look like that we will continue to also be active. If we go on back to the 18Z real quick, this is it right here. Continue off right here at around 10 p.m. We move over into tonight, 12 o'clock in the morning, going all the way into around like 7 a.m. or so. You can see for sure cloud cover getting going even by 1 p.m. tomorrow. We go all the way into 5 o'clock p.m., moving all the way to 9 to 10 o'clock p.m. Cloud cover activity really starting to get its act together. And then as you move into Wednesday morning, going into Wednesday afternoon, cloud cover once again trying to take over. Now, what's going on in terms of current temperatures? Well, right now it looks like around 82 in Somerville, 83 Charleston, even 85 in Beaufort, 84 Hilton Head Island, and 83 in Orangeburg, 83 Georgetown in Myrtle Beach, 82 in Conway and Florence, even around 82 in Hartsville, 81 in Lancaster, Rock Hill, 78 in Greenville, 79 Clemson, Anderson, and Spartanburg, even Gaffney is around 79. Now, what about for our air quality for tonight? It looks like that we're looking at some moderate conditions for a good amount of us. Spartanburg's included in there, even over inside of Florence, Sumter, down towards Manning. You're looking at that yellow moderate risk of air quality. Again, not technically good, but not technically too bad either. So if you're in the yellow, just make sure that you're paying attention tonight if you're outside late, for a long period of time tonight. Keep an eye on that air quality. Low temperatures for tonight, we're talking about 73 in Greenville, 72 Spartanburg, even 72 inside of Rock Hill, even around 76 Orangeburg, 81 Charleston, 80 Hilton Head Island, 80 Myrtle Beach. It's going to be relentless over there near the coastal areas with barely any relief at all. And then high temperatures for tomorrow, we're looking at around 93 in Greenville, Spartanburg, even 95 in Columbia, 95 in Orangeburg, and 95 in Kingstree, 95 in Moncks Corner, 91 in Charleston, 94 Georgetown, and 90 inside of Myrtle Beach. Now, for our heat index values for tomorrow, looks like that a good amount of that heat will be centered kind of in the low country. In fact, look down there at Hilton Head Island, 112 degrees as a heat index for tomorrow. That's hot, hot, hot. And then you see Charleston, 108, Walterboro, Moncks Corner, 106, and then you even see around 105 over there in Camden. And honestly, most of us seem to be around that 100-degree mark in terms of heat index and even more. Rainfall as we move throughout the next 24 hours or so, good amount of rainfall for the low country, for the Midlands. Grand Strand, it looks like almost everybody, every region, I should say, will see some type of rainfall in some sort. You can even see around maximum around Columbia, 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch. You see Georgetown, 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch. You see areas like Moncks Corner, Walterboro, 1/10 inch to 1/4 inch, Myrtle Beach. And a lot of us, though, is in that 1/100 inch to 1/10 inch. Charleston, Florence, going up there near Cheraw, near Camden, near Sumter, near Spartanburg, near Greenwood. A lot of these areas are around 1/100 inch to 1/10 inch or so. Now, if we go in and take a look at the SPC outlook for tonight, thunderstorm activity is still possible. In fact, it is still going on for sure, as we still have strong storms moving throughout the Midlands going on, even inside the low country areas right now as we speak. But no longer anything severe is expected. And so we kind of fizzled out with all of that severe activity that kind of was going on a bit earlier. And once again today, we saw kind of a really hot start to the day, to where like even at 11 o'clock in the morning at my house, it was like 92, felt like 102, I believe, at around 11:30 this morning. So we had a really hot start, and you remember what I said yesterday. If it gets hot quick, those storms will have more time and even an even better opportunity to go on and get going real quick and to get severe real quick, which is why, I mean, we had like 10 damage reports for today. A lot of those happen inside of Richland counties and over there inside of Berkeley County, also having a good amount of storm reports for today. With trees being down, we saw a good amount of really just trees. I mean, honestly, I think that was what most of the actual alerts and most of the reports actually was from trees being down in intersections and on power lines. Now, as we go into tomorrow, again, another risk of thunderstorms statewide, and you can even see a little marginal risk trying to intrude a little bit over there inside of the northern part of the state. And then as you go into Wednesday, it looks like once again thunderstorm activity is again expected. So we're kind of just going to see this train of thunderstorm activity over and over and over as we move throughout the next 3 days or so. And excessive rainfall is also an issue that we're going to have to pay attention to. Isolated flash flooding up there in the upstate, over there in the Midlands, over there in the PD areas, the Grand Strand, even the Tri-County areas is inside of that risk for tonight. Tomorrow, nothing. And then as we move through Wednesday, going into Thursday and Friday, things look to be a lot drier. Than what it could potentially be as we move into tonight. But like I said, with these marginal risk of excessive rainfall or even a marginal risk of severe weather, we've seen it time and time again where it could expand quickly. So, don't be surprised if we move like a couple of days into the future and then you look and then you see that a new risk of flash flooding has been added. It's summertime at this point. Almost anything can happen. So one thing that you can definitely see here that has changed, that's due to the website being here, you can see the crazy score. Yes, that is also on the website. You can check out the crazy score real time. It updates every minute. So we will no longer be doing a full-on day crazy score, for the entire day. We're just going to have it live now. And as you can see, the crazy score right now is 65. Strong weather conditions affecting parts of South Carolina. And obviously we have a bunch of special weather statements going on. We have a flood advisory, we have a flash flood warning going on. And then with conditions also being added in as well, that also goes on and adds on to it. But again, we'll do a whole website breakdown as we go into like the end part of the stream. So at the end part of the forecast, we'll go on and talk about that. But the crazy score for right now, we're at a 65. We're inside that strong category. So let's go on now and take a look at the models. Time is at the bottom part of your screen. Please make sure that you go on and pay attention to that, as that is very, 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 very important. And as we start off here at around 9 p.m. Tonight, you go on and push this forward, and even by around 12 o'clock in the morning, we still may not be done with shower and storm activity. You go all the way to around 2 a.m., moving all the way to around 4 a.m. on Tuesday. And again, you are still seeing kind of like some of that rainfall activity trying to trickle down, kind of go away. Now, as you get into the morning hours of tomorrow, going into the afternoon hours, guess what? More thunderstorm activity once again as we move into Tuesday afternoon around 1 to 2 p.m. And then as you move more into around 5 p.m., going all the way to around 7 p.m., another risk of rainfall tries to move in from the west, like in Georgia and Alabama, and kind of moves its way out towards the east. And then as you move into the evening hours tomorrow, again, still after midnight, you still could see some shower activity, some storm activity. You move into Wednesday morning, going into Wednesday afternoon, another risk of rainfall once again. So thunderstorm activity will definitely still be a problem as we move throughout the next 3 days. We know that. But what about as we go into the long-term future? We're going to start off here at around the 48-hour mark here at around 2 o'clock p.m. on Wednesday. And as you go on and push this forward all the way into Thursday, going over into Friday, you kind of just see that normal summertime thunderstorm activity as you move throughout the rest of the week. Now, as we get into Saturday, going over into Sunday, so this weekend, you're still kind of seeing that rainfall activity kind of pop up here and there, kind of like normal summertime activity. But one thing that you don't really see too much is a whole storm system trying to come in. Bringing in beneficial rainfall statewide. Now, like I said, any rainfall, like especially the rainfall that we're seeing right now, is beneficial. It's definitely beneficial. But if we really want to see the entire state get some very good, very needed rainfall, We need to see a big storm system try and move through to really bring in that huge, those huge amounts of rainfall. Because yeah, I mean, like I said, I mean, we're seeing flash flood warnings, but again, that's not a flash flood warning statewide. And of course, I'm not wishing for a flash flood warning statewide. But what I am saying is that, just seeing like a day like this, like for example, this is Sunday at like 8 p.m. right here. Obviously, you see it's not covering the entire state. Now, as you move into next week, going into Monday, moving over into Tuesday as well, and then even into Wednesday, you see another good amount of rainfall trying to move in. But again, it's not really too active. It's not really too active. Until we get to around Friday or so, we see a little bit of a shift. It looks like maybe a storm system may try to move in as we go later on into next week. But past that, rainfall activity kind of just continues to kind of do its summer pattern and just continue to bring some heavy rainfall in some spots, maybe not so much rainfall in others. Now, storm systems, obviously, if we're going to go on and take a look at that, maybe we would want to go on and just take a look at the full picture. And so, we're not looking at the crazy score right now, but if we go on and move on over into our pattern for the month, real quick, this is right here at around, we're going to do 8 p.m. tonight. That's where we're going to start this off at. And one thing that you do immediately notice is that there's not really a huge ridge anywhere. There's not really a huge area until you get maybe later on. But for right now, you move into the 8th, you move into the 10th, even into the 11th. You don't see like a major storm system trying to move through until we get into this weekend. This weekend comes along, you see a little low pressure kind of trying to break into that trough a little, or break into that ridge a little bit over here inside of the east. And, as we're getting some more active conditions over here in the east, look over here in the west. They're receiving nicer conditions. And if we go in and take a look at the precipitation aspect of it, well, I mean, it kind of works in my favor. It kind of shows exactly what I was talking about. Some more active weather over here in the east and some cooler weather over there in the west. Now, if we go in and push this forward even more, it gets even stronger. We have that low pressure over there in the east, still bringing us some active weather. But over there in the west, they're having some nice, fun activities, some nice fun time in the sun for a good amount of areas as you go later on into the middle part of the month. And even as you go into the middle part of the month, there still is a good trough digging its way down into South Carolina that could still go on and bring in some active activity. Now, like I said, obviously, just because there is a ridge over there inside of the west, it doesn't mean that it's just going to completely just keep all of the rain out. So that's something that some people may not know too much about, but it's just because there's a ridge there, and I'm saying like it's going to be a bit more on the drier side, does not mean that we're going to be completely done with precipitation over there in the west. But as you move forward even more, all the way into the 16th, over into the 17th, once again, just over there in the west, continuing to stay on the nicer side. Well, over here in the east, as we move more and more over into the end parts of July, things continue to get a little bit more active. Things start to get a little bit more active. So, cold fronts are definitely inside of our future. In fact, we were even talking about a potential cold front as we move later on into like this weekend. But honestly, I think if we do get one, it would probably be more going to like early next week now that I'm looking at it. So, I mean, a potential cold front next week, that's potentially possible. Now, how much rainfall are we really expecting as we go throughout the next 384 hours or so? Well, according to the GEFS, looks like we're around 1.5 inches. I see 1.75 inches for a good amount of us over here inside of the upstate areas. But if you look over here near like the Grand Strand areas over in the low country, you see close to 2 to 3 inches. So a good amount of rainfall definitely for the areas that need it the most, obviously being that low country area, being that Grand Strand area now. And then if we go in and take a look at the European model, the European ensemble kind of has us around 1.5 inches, maybe around 2 inches or so in the Midlands. You have around 3 inches or so inside of the low country areas of South Carolina. And for the most part, it does look like that we are continuing just to see kind of an agreement in terms of the western part of the state, not seeing as much rainfall as the eastern parts of the state as we go throughout the next 300 plus hours. Now, temperature-wise, as we go on and move this forward into Monday night going into Tuesday, we know that temperatures are going to continue to just be above average. We know that. We know it's going to be hot as we move throughout the rest of the week. Going into Thursday, going even into Friday, we're looking at those temperatures being around 10 to 15 degrees above average. We move into Saturday. Going over into Sunday, again, we're around, even some spots close to 20 degrees above average as you move into this weekend, prompting potentially a heat advisory to potentially be needed as we move on, which, there's already been a bunch of heat advisories that have been added on. I believe today there was one. So, yeah, heat advisories have been issued and will probably continue to be issued even as we go into next or even into this weekend. Now, as we move on, like I said, a little bit of a cool down, maybe trying to get get going as you move more into next week. Even as you move into Tuesday, we're not quite as warm as we once were. So that's something to keep an eye on as we move into next week. Even by like around, for example, 2 p.m. or so on Thursday of next week, we're still, in some areas, still pretty warm. But that's just the nature of summer. It's going to be warm. It's going to be hot for a lot of areas, but it doesn't really seem to be that hot, statewide. And so I really do believe that a cool down for a good amount of people is possible as we move in throughout the next 200 to 300 hours or so. Now, before I go in and talk about the official temperatures in general, I need a favor real quick. When we go in and test out the website later and I show you how it works, and I'll show you how it works, obviously, I need a couple of locations inside of South Carolina inside the chat. It could be your hometown. It could be where you currently reside at inside of South Carolina. But I just need a couple of locations inside of the chat right now. So any location inside of South Carolina, please go in and put it inside the chat right now so we can go in and test that location for later on. I just need to get that out of the way. So again, any location that you want to inside of South Carolina. But moving on, in terms of actual temperature, you go into tonight going all the way into Tuesday, you see those high temperatures back up into the upper 90s, going into the lower 100s. You go all the way even into Wednesday. Going into Wednesday afternoon, you're around 100, 105 degrees or so into Wednesday. Thursday comes along, you're back up into the 100s once again, and you see that trend of 100s going on all the way throughout the weekend. As you move into early next week, you're still seeing temperatures up near that 100-degree range. And as you move into Tuesday, you're also still around that 100-degree range of next week. So, honestly, this heat just continues to be persistent. Even though if we do have, a little cool down maybe trying to come through later on, it doesn't really push down that heat according to the GFS. The GFS doesn't really like that, that much. Now, obviously, it's over 200 hours, so if we really wanted to take a look at that, we would have to look at the ensembles. The ensembles, for the most part, they have us in the, in the more mid-90s, but I do see a couple locations kind of dropping down a little bit. So I think that the cold system or the cold actual signal is there. It just matters what happens with it and, what happens with the temperatures for the future. So let's go on and look at the heat index values now. We go on and push this forward into this week. Heat index values on Wednesday, for example, being back up towards 105. We're getting up to around 106, 107 on Thursday. Friday, we're around close to 103, 104. And as you move into Saturday, we're up to around 106, 107. Even Sunday, we're still kind of just staying up in that mid kind of 105, 106 range. But the heat index values does seem to try and calm down a little bit as you get into mid-month. Now, we'll see what happens as you move more and more into the future, but it does seem like the heat index values try to calm down just a little bit though. And that's pretty much all I have to say here for the long-term future. So that's the main forecast done here. Before we go in and go over that website, I want to go on real quick and talk with the audience because there is nothing in terms of the drought, obviously, and no new earthquakes for today. So we're going to go on real quick and talk with the audience real quick. If you want to be a part of the audience, you can by joining us here at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. Let's see what the audience has to say here for tonight. Starting off with my Aunt Lula. She says, "Good evening, everyone. Pray that everyone had a wonderful day." Well, thank you so much for that. Today in Georgetown, our high was around 93 degrees. Humidity was around 98. Currently, it's 78 degrees. Well, thank you so much for that weather report for for where you are over there inside of Georgetown. And at my house today, it looks like it was around 80 degrees currently, 85 as a feel-like temperature. And then the high temperature at my house was 97. We had no rainfall today. No rainfall today. Today in Georgetown, we had thundering and rain showers. The rain showers was around 0.83 inches. Well-needed rain. It helped out my garden, my tomatoes especially. Well, I'm glad to hear that. My Nana says, hello, Jay and all. Hello to you. Another nice day of bright sunshine and heat. Mr. Daniel says, good evening. I did. Congratulations. Well, thank you so much for that. And then my Aunt Lula says, congratulations. If you don't know what they're talking about my new website launch. Well, 44% says yes, they have seen it. 33% says that they saw the video, but they have not went to the website yet. And 22% says that they have not seen the website yet, or they don't even know what we're even talking about. Go check out my short, or just stay tuned for like another couple of minutes, and I'll show you it. Thad says, good evening, Joseph and the 360 Weather family. I trust all is well. It was another hot day here inside of San Antonio. Not as breezy as days past. The high was 94. Stayed inside the majority of the day. Well, thank you so much for that weather report over there in San Antonio. Mr. Daniel says it was hot. I waited until around 2 p.m. to cut the grass. Even on my zero-turn mower, it's just too hot. Too hot. My Nana says right now it's beautiful outside. Absolutely no heat. Terrell says, I'm so proud of you. Congratulations. Well, thank you so much for that. Your website is beautiful. And then greetings, everyone. Well, thank you so much for that. And then we have our locations right here. So let's go on real quick and go to that real quick. And then we'll do the top fan question. We'll talk about San Antonio, Raleigh, Philadelphia. And then we'll go on, talk about the entire U.S. and in that order. So we're going to go on real quick, like I said, and show the website right now on my screen. So you start off here on the home page. Go on and go right here. Here we go. You start off here on the home page. Obviously, you're looking. You see the SC Weather Authority thing right here on the top. Real forecast, real intensity, covering every corner of South Carolina from the upstate to the low country. Live forecast, severe weather alerts, and the exclusive crazy score system. There are all your tabs up here at the top. If you go on and scroll your way down, you can see there is an About Me section. It's pretty much, you pretty much know everything. If you've been here for, a minute now, pretty much everything that you know about me on here is pretty much what is on this About Me section right here. May add some more to it later on. Here's the featured locations, obviously the big four: Columbia, Charleston, Greenville, Myrtle Beach. The crazy score right here. Here's the exclusive crazy score that's updated every minute, and you can see the categories down there. You have your severe weather center, and then obviously share your weather photos. And then you have obviously we had to have a subscribe button at the bottom. So here's the forecast. We had locations going on inside the chat that I asked people to put in and see what areas we can go in and take a look at. Georgetown was the first one. Here's the forecast for Georgetown as you move throughout the next 7 days here. See rainfall tonight, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Still hot though. Friday, still hot, but no rainfall. And then Saturday and Sunday, it kind of resumes. We also had, let's see, Islandton, South Carolina. Let's see if that's on here. It is on here. So, you can see, tonight, tomorrow, Wednesday, again, another chance of rainfall. Thursday and Friday, dry. Saturday, Sunday, staying hot. And then Aiken, South Carolina. I know we have Aiken, South Carolina on here. But you see tonight, tomorrow, a bit of a different forecast compared to the other ones, really just because it's more in that CSRA area, not really in the low country and the Grand Strand like those two are. Now, severe weather-wise, obviously we have the flash flood warning. You get every warning: tornado warning, severe thunderstorm warnings. You see that we have it kind of like set up in categories. You have the minor warnings, which is the flood advisories. You have the moderate categories, which is the special weather statement areas, which there is a bunch. And then also there are some beach hazard statements, and the heat advisories are down there. And you can see right here the safety reminders: tornado warning, thunderstorm/lightning. You see all of the information that you need for any type of severe weather event. You go over into severe, you have the flash flood warning, and then extreme, that's probably your tornado warning section right over here. The tropics, mainly the Atlantic, but you can go on and look at the Eastern Pacific. In fact, there is an area in the Eastern Pacific right now that's ongoing, but mainly this is just for the Atlantic. SPC outlook, you get all the SPC outlook for tonight, tomorrow, for Wednesday, and whenever we have one for days 4 through 8, that will be shown here. You have the risk of severe weather over here at the bottom, and all the watches, all the mesoscale discussions nationwide, and then the ones that are for South Carolina will be in orange. And then here are all the storm reports. No tornado reports, no hail reports, but here's all the wind reports you can see from Lexington County over into Richland County, over all the way into Berkeley County, to where we see trees down pretty much almost throughout a good amount of the state as we moved into today, or as we went throughout the day. We have 2 flood alerts going on. Obviously, you can see this is the flooding page right here, and you can see all the risk of excessive rainfall that we have. You can see flash flood warning for Berkeley County right now, flood advisory for Orangeburg County right now, and then here is the discussions for the WPC, but obviously none for South Carolina right now. Then for the drought, very important. We've been talking about the drought a lot. Here's the drought forecast for the last week or so. I'm interested to see what it's going to do for this Thursday. Will it update automatically? Because if that is something that I have to fix, obviously I'll go in and fix it. But I've not tested it yet because obviously it hasn't been a Thursday yet. But I will see what happens. Everything else has been updating fine. So I hope that this one is the same. I had to work a bit more on this one. But here's all of the information that you need for the drought. Earthquakes, that's also here on the site as well. You can go in and check out the earthquakes throughout the state. You can see how many people actually felt it and they actually reported it. And you can see the exact time. You can see the ratings all down here throughout the bottom. The crazy score, we know what the crazy score is. I've shown this one, multiple times. You can see the scoring system, and it actually shows how the crazy score even works as well. And then one of my favorites, the weather outlook. What is this? This is a nice day forecast tracker. Pretty much it says what day is going to be the nicest for you. So if you're in the Midlands, Wednesday is going to be your best day. If you're in the upstate, Tuesday, tomorrow is going to be your best day. The low country, Thursday. The Grand Strand, Thursday. And then the PD areas is also on Wednesday as well. Now, one thing that you can see is also the ones for today, like in the low country for tomorrow. It's kind of poor. It's hot, and also there's a slight chance of rain. So obviously it's not really going to be the best tomorrow. But one thing that you also can check out, which I'm wrapping this up. I know I've been on here for a minute now. I'm wrapping it up. I'm trying to get through this as fast as I can. You can see like the beach day. Like if you want to go to the beach, you can check out here and see, what's going on here. You have to have a score of 75. You have fishing, you have tailgating, you have kayaking, you have golf, you have hiking. All of that is put onto here. You can check it out for the Grand Strand as well. You see it's a 49 for tomorrow. Why? Well, that chance of rainfall is up, 30% chance of shower and storm activity. And then sports fans can take this game day weather for the Gamecocks, for the Tigers, for if you're going to the Charleston Battery, if you're going to see the Myrtle Beach Pelicans or the Greenville Drive or the Columbia Fireflies. All of that is down here at the bottom to see what's currently going on at those areas as you speak, or as we speak. And then as we go on and move into the last tab, submit your weather photos. So no longer having to send it to scweather360@gmail.com if you don't want to. If you want to send it to scweather360@gmail.com, you still can. But there's a new way to do it now. All you have to do is go here to the website, submit your weather photos, capture something wild, storms, lightning, flooding, rainbows. It says you might get featured, but you probably will. And you can drop up to 25 photos. Each of those photos could be up to 25 megabytes each. So there should not be any sort of restriction in terms of the actual photo or video that you send out. So we'll, obviously check it out, test it out, make sure that it works for you. If it doesn't work, obviously you can let me know. And then put all your information, email, location, the date that it was taken, the category, and then the description of it. And obviously, if you want to submit a photo, obviously you must own the rights to any photo. By submitting, you grant me permission to feature your photo with credit. No filters that misrepresent the weather conditions, and then also safety first. Never put yourself in danger for a picture. And that's the entire website. That's it. So I like it. I love it, actually. And again, it's going to be upgraded some more. Obviously, I know that there still may be some problems with it. It's still in a testing phase, obviously, but for what has been, over the past week or two or so or however long, I've been, working on this. I think that it turned out pretty well. I think that it turned out pretty well, but that's just my opinion on it. So I'm just gonna go on and I'm gonna give all of us a round of applause for this website, because obviously it was from people who went on and suggested that I should get a website that made me decide, okay, let me go on and get a website real quick. So I'm gonna go on and give all of us a round of applause for tonight. And so that is it for the entire website. Again, that is scweather360.com. Again, that is scweather360.com. Again, if I'm not here for a day, or if I'm not, here for a morning forecast update, for an evening forecast update, you have a website that you can go to now. Check out the forecast for you. Seeing what's going on with severe weather, seeing what happened with the drought, or with the earth, or if there was any earthquakes going on. You can check all of that out, and the crazy score. So all of that is now out public. You can check it out now. But all of that out the way, that took a bit longer than I thought, but we still have some more stuff to go on and talk about real quick. Number one, top fan question of the night for tonight. Top fan question of the night for tonight. And this one's a pretty, I guess, kind of like a bit of a mid difficulty question, just if you were here for the beginning. At the beginning of the stream, when I was talking about the heat index values, I said that Hilton Head Island was going to be the hottest for tomorrow. What was the exact temperature? What was the exact temperature for Hilton Head Island for the heat index value for tomorrow? If you can go in and get that correct, you can go on and win the top fan of the night for tonight. Again, thank you to everybody who was saying congratulations. And then you have done an outstanding job. Well, thank you so much for that, Mr. Daniel. And that's all that I can see here. And so we're going to go on real quick and talk about the 4 areas outside of South Carolina. You might be asking, 4 areas, what am I talking about? I'm talking about San Antonio, Texas, Raleigh, North Carolina, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, as well as Duncan, Oklahoma. The reason why we talk about these 4 areas, because we have people from these areas who tune in almost nightly, and because they tune in almost nightly, we go in and give them their forecast for them. Starting off with San Antonio first, you have low temperatures tonight at 77, high temperatures for tomorrow at 96, and then low temperatures tomorrow night at 76. Precipitation, not expected for tonight. Precipitation is not expected for tonight. And then tomorrow, precipitation is not expected there either. Now, what's going on in terms of your future? It looks like that you will continue to stay hot even as you go into next weekend, or this weekend, I should say. You're still going to be in the 90s, so you're not going to cool down anytime soon, but rain chances are coming. Friday, you have a 20% chance of thunderstorm activity, and then on Saturday, moving on over into the weekend, into early next week, you will be looking at a potential rain and thunderstorm chance. So, it's not impossible, and I definitely would be watching for it. Making sure, number one, for thunderstorm activity, severe weather, excessive rainfall, but also just because it's beneficial for you. Severe weather for you, not expected at this time, though. Now, what's going on in terms of Raleigh, North Carolina? You have low temperatures tonight at 74, high temperatures for tomorrow at around a good 96, and then low temperatures tomorrow night at 75. Thunderstorms are likely tonight, and then tomorrow, there's the chance of thunderstorms. Tomorrow night, showers are likely. Now, if we go on and take a look at your risk of severe weather, you do have a risk of severe weather for tonight and tomorrow. Tomorrow, severe winds of up to 60 miles per hour, isolated damaging winds of up to 60 miles per hour is possible as you go into tomorrow. So make sure that you're aware there. And then as you go over into your excessive rainfall outlook, tonight, isolated flash flooding. Tomorrow, isolated flash flooding. Even on Wednesday, potentially isolated flash flooding. But past that, looking good overall. Let's go ahead and check out the chat, and already all 3 submissions are correct. But on my screen, Mount Lula did get it first. So congratulations to you for getting the top fan answer of the night for tonight. Obviously, honorable mentions, Mr. Daniel was on there, Thad was on there, Trail was on there, my Nana was on there, and Those were the other 4 honorable mentions. So first off, Mr. Daniel, or not Mr. Daniel, excuse me, my Aunt Lula, congratulations to you for winning it for tonight. And then for the 4 honorable mentions, congratulations to the 4 of y'all. All right, moving on now for Philadelphia. You have low temperatures tonight at around a good 68. High temperatures tomorrow at around 78, and then low temperatures tomorrow night at around 66. Chance of thunderstorms tonight. Tomorrow, there's another chance of shower activity, and tomorrow night, no precipitation there. Patchy fog definitely will occur tonight, and also tomorrow as well. And so make sure that if you're out there, late tonight, early tomorrow morning, make sure that you have low beams on your car and not high beams. Please do not do that. And then also make sure that you go on and just be vigilant, just in general. Because, there's definitely going to be some other people out there maybe with no headlights on at all. And also, with that patchy fog chance comes a chance of thunderstorms tonight, and then tomorrow a chance of showers. So you're still, watching for that rainfall chance. For excessive rainfall, isolated flash flooding possible tonight. But past that, that's it for excessive rainfall. Then if we go on and take a look at your severe weather, looks like that you're good there. For your future, it does look like that you will continue to go on and kind of just stay in the 80s. So 78 tomorrow, but then once you get more towards the end of the week, you'll be getting right back up into the 80s once again, and you won't really try and get to the 90s until probably later on next week. Then finally for Duncan, Oklahoma, you have low temperatures tonight at 71, high temperatures for tomorrow at 94, and then low temperatures tomorrow night at 72. No precipitation tonight or tomorrow. And then in terms of your future, in terms of rainfall, 20% chance of thunderstorm activity tomorrow on Friday night, and then moving on into Sunday night, another 20% chance of shower and storm activity there. So from Friday night all the way into Sunday night, you can see a shower and storm activity. Severe weather-wise, it looks like that you're in the clear. Excessive rainfall-wise, it looks like that you are also in the clear. So that's all I have to say there. Let's go on now and take a look at what's going on throughout the entire U.S. weather news-wise. Well, moisture in a nearby frontal boundary. We'll focus more shower and thunderstorm activity for portions of the mid-Atlantic and the Northeast today. Rainfall could be locally heavy, resulting instances of flash flooding. Meanwhile, the heat lingers for areas of the southeast and expands across the western U.S. the next several days. Between these areas, severe thunderstorms possible for the plains and then also inside of the Midwest as well. So we're seeing a lot of stuff going on, a lot of activity going on. Heat continues. Also, like it said over there inside of the West. And I think that's pretty much about all that I can see here. So we did have a video that was sent. Also, look at that. Flooding mesoscale discussion there. So we'll see if that is loaded up. I'll see what happens there. See if I have to fix that or not. But we did have a video that was sent in today. It was from my Aunt Lula over there inside of Georgetown. Where she sent in a rainfall or a rain video here. So thank you so much for this video right here. Again, if you want to be like my Aunt Lula and be featured here on the SC Weather channel, you can. You just have to go on and obviously be a subscriber if you want to go on and put it, remind me inside the chat that you actually do have one, because sometimes I may check my email a bit too late or a bit too early before you send it. So, that's a good way to make sure you get my attention. But that's not the main way how you do it. The main way how you do it is you go on and send it in to me at scweather360@gmail.com, or, which I would prefer, people go on and do send in on the website, which is scweather360.com, because I want to test it out. I want to see, what happens with this. See, once we get like a lot of submissions put into it, I want to see how the website reacts. So please try and refrain from using the email and try and use the website to send in pictures. So I want to see some pictures set in tomorrow, or some videos set in tomorrow, and seeing, kind of what happens with it. But that's all that I can see here. Again, you can go in and do that, or you can send it in to me on Instagram or Twitter at 360_weather. And that's all I have to say here for tonight. I've been here for about 45 minutes now, so it's time for me to stop talking and make sure that you guys can go on and do what you guys need to do for tonight. But make sure that you tune in tomorrow morning for your Tuesday morning forecast update. Also tomorrow evening for your Tuesday evening forecast update. And then also, I will not be here for a good amount of the weekend. Next weekend, I think it will be Thursday evening through Friday through Saturday and then Sunday morning. So there's going to be a good amount of time where I will not be here for a forecast, but you have the website now that you can go in and check out. So all of that, you can go in and check it out and see what's going on for your location as I am not here from Thursday evening going into Sunday morning. So that's just, kind of just there as a reminder. I will keep on reminding you guys as we get more and more throughout, into the future. But that's all I have to say here. My Aunt Shirley says, congrats, the website looks great. Well, thank you so much for that. And that's all that I can see here inside the chat. So I will be back tomorrow morning, Tuesday morning forecast update. Make sure that you're there for that. Hit those two buttons before you leave if you're new. Like button, subscribe button, share button.